Society loves putting people in boxes, and these boxes are often not how we feel about ourselves. Our next guest describes her life as living 2 doors down from normal. Think about that. It's a powerful statement. Please welcome author and advocate Chelsea Austin.
Yes.
Yay! Chelsea, welcome to the show. So you give the phrase, keeping it in the family, a whole new meaning. Explain.
You know, when they say it takes a village to raise a child, I hear that. I was raised by 2 incredible, and I know I'm biased, gay men who really did everything in their power to bring me into the world. And they used my dad, Kevin's sperm, and my daddy, Dennis's sister's egg, and my dad's cousin carried me. So they did everything they could to bring me into this world, and everybody had to lawyer up and make sure that both my dad and my daddy were on my birth certificate so that, God forbid something happened, they would both have legal rights to me. And that was the first time that happened in the state of California.
Wow.
That's huge. Now, I got to ask you, because obviously there are going to be some people that have some issues with this next statement, but you say that you don't need a mom to succeed in life. So tell everybody, tell our audience, what are some ways that your dad stepped up for you?
You know, my parents really armed themselves with information. They made sure that they did the research and they talked to, I think, as many women as they could get a hold of. I think one of the most popular questions was always, who's going to do her hair? And I said, well, first of all, my dad's a gay. Second of all, my dad also has a cosmetology license, so I'm taken care of. But when it came to dating or boys or sex, they wanted to make sure that I felt comfortable coming to them, and they really did a fantastic job of that, and also built an army of female figures in my life that I felt comfortable going to at any time. So I stand by that. You do not need a mom to feel successful and loved and wonderful being who you are.
I love it. Chelsea, okay, now you've had some pretty big obstacles to overcome in your 28 years of life. Which ones do you find to be either the hardest or maybe the most pivotal to your growth?
That's an amazing question. So, you know, there are 2 things that really stand out for me. One was my daddy went to prison for 2 years during my senior year of college and the year following. And my biological mom, my aunt, passed away from lung cancer when she was really young. And I would say, while those experiences don't define me, they definitely have made me who I am today. And one thing that I really took away from my daddy being away, as he called it, his trip to mandatory adult sleepaway camp, was that he was grateful every day for his life, for the beauty that the sunrise brings. No matter having his freedom taken away, whatever it was, he was always grateful. And seeing his mindset and how he was able to stay positive every day and see the glass half full, I think is what I learned most from him in that moment. And from my auntie passing away, I mean, talk about losing your #1 fan. That was a challenge, but she taught me to laugh loudly and a lot, and laugh at yourself, and not take life too seriously, and to follow your dreams and your heart. I mean, she's a big reason why I wrote my book. She's a big reason why I left my career in real estate to follow where I knew I needed to be in life.
Someone, Julia Gray, one of our viewers, just wrote, I love her smile. So your auntie is looking down on you. Oh. I know, isn't that lovely? This is a really interesting part in your memoir. You said just because you're a liberal doesn't mean you're actually open-minded. Can you elaborate on that? It's so interesting to me.
Yeah, you know, it's a contentious point,
yeah,
but
right.
I definitely believe that. I grew up in a bubble. Grew up in Malibu, California. I've lived in Los Angeles most of my life. And it wasn't until I moved across the country to go to college in a small town in Pennsylvania where I really started to meet people that were different from me politically. And I felt like I really kind of shut down. I went, well, you're not open-minded if you don't see the world the way I do. But just because they don't agree with things that I believe are non-negotiables doesn't mean that I have the only right opinion. And I believe that if you really want to connect with people, and if we want to create a less divided society, we have to work on actually hearing other people out that are different from us. So I work to be more open-minded by hearing people out and being more accepting of people with very differing views from me, which is not always see, but I
Right.
do my best.
Good for
That
you.
is very self-aware,
Yeah.
very transparent.
See, I do the opposite. I shut
You shut 'em down?
people
Yeah.
that disagree
He's
with
not
me.
lying.
I marginalize
He hates
and I
people.
extract
not
people that don't
true.
think like
He
I do.
uses us.
It's
That's
worked
not true.
perfectly.
Here's, I think, a really interesting question and hopefully a takeaway for all our viewers and absolutely all the readers of your book. How can we create our own identity and redefine our existing labels like you have?
You know, I think labels are fascinating things because they're not actually for us. They're for everybody else to better understand who we are. And so often we end up with labels that we're not totally comfortable with. Like, I was known as the girl with 2 gay dads. I still am for most of my life. But it's not the only interesting thing about me. And so I love to take labels and redefine them for myself and create a meaning that I'm comfortable with. I've also been called relentless a lot in my life, which is not necessarily a positive word that you use to describe someone. But I had to take that and say, you know what? It just means that I am relentlessly dedicated to making my dreams a reality. And so if you can take words and give them the meaning that you are comfortable with and check the other words in the bin, you get to decide that and no one else.
Wow, Chelsea, you're such an old soul. Like your aura just like jumps off the screen. You know, obviously also a testament to your 2 fantastic dads. Thank you so much, Chelsea. DBL Nation, find more on Chelsea and pre-order her upcoming inspirational memoir, Inexplicably Me, on chelseaaustin.com. We'll be right back.
Thank you,
Thank you so
Chelsea.
much, Chelsea.